Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. So today we are going to proceed with the part 2 of the control accounts. So we go to the pro forma control account reconciliation, and so this is a pro forma account reconciliation for receivable ledger control account, which is appear in nominal ledger. So the item that need to be adjusted, you adjust in this account, which is a receivable ledger control account. So the item that need to be adjusted, this is a part of that, is sale day book undercast, which is this amount has been decreased. Has been undercast while doing posting to the control account. So the undercast you just adjust at debit side, and same goes to sales omitted from sale day book. We just debit this receivable ledger control account. And for transposition error in posting, this is you transfer. The amount transferred is more than whatever the real amount, so you need to credit this receivable ledger control account. So this is a reconcile statement, means that you are going to adjust the balance as per receivable ledger as above. This is for adjustment for receivable ledger control account, which is at nominal ledger. So the format is that you started with the total balance as per receivable ledger, and you adjust by adding the balance omitted, and you minus any credit balance that listed as the debit balance. So you will get the adjusted balance as per receivable ledger. Or this amount should be agreed with the balance BD of receivable ledger control account after adjusted. Okay, this is about sale day book undercast. This example of sale day book undercast. Okay, as per sale day book, this is example that sale day book that has been written, has been recorded. We have the customer A, B, and C. So the total amount of the sale here is 2,219. But in calculating for this column, clerk has been wrongly calculated by 2,200, which is undercast by 19. So the wrong amount, which is 2,200, has been recorded or posted to receivable ledger control account, and credit to the sales as 2,200. Whereas for the receivable ledger, each customer have been recorded correctly by this amount. So when the list of the receivable ledger account has been extracted, the total amount will appear as the correct amount, which is 2,290. As for receivable ledger control, after balancing has been made, the receivable ledger control account will come out with the amount of 2,200, which is undercast by 90. So a company needs to adjust this to the correct amount of 2,019, which is the undercast amount, should be debited to receivable ledger control account and credit sales. Another mistake in the receivable ledger control account is sales omitted from the sale day book. So this example of the customer account that have been recorded in the receivable ledger. We have customer A, B, and C. So this is correct correctly recorded in the receivable ledger. But for the sale debut, all have been recorded except for the B. Transaction that have been made to B is not recorded, omitted from the sale debut. As a result of that, the total sale now is 1690 that been posted to the receivable ledger and credit sales. So whereas for the receivable ledger, the balance, the total balance is 2290, which is all is already recorded, which is the difference is 600 between the nominal ledger and nominal ledger, which is a receivable ledger control, and the total of the receivable ledger. So the difference is 600. So we made adjustment in the receivable ledger control account by debiting this amount 600, and also we need to credit the sale for 600. The next error is transposition error in posting. This is error also happen in the receivable ledger control account. So this is the situation where the sale debut has been recorded correctly and the calculation also correct. But when posting, the amount transport is wrongly as 2000, which is less than the amount, the actual amount. Whereas since this has been recording, the sale debut has been recorded correctly, and the amount that recorded in the receivable ledger control account also correct. As a result, the balance for total balance in the receivable ledger will get the correct amount of 2290, whereas in the receivable ledger control account, when balancing the figure, the balancing the account, the balance will be 2000, which is different by 290. Since this is the amount different is less, the amount that been recorded posting to the receivable ledger control account is less, so the adjustment should be debited. We increase back the amount by 290, so we debit the receivable ledger control account and credit sales. And this is error occur in the receivable ledger. So balance omitted in the receivable in doing the receivable ledger balance list. So in the receivable ledger account, in the receivable ledger, we have 3 accounts, which are A, B, and C, which is all correct. But when we do the list of balances for each customer, we only extract for A and C, so we omit the B account. As a result, the total balance is less than as actual. The actual amount appeared in the receivable ledger control account is 2290, because everything that has been recording in the sale debut has been correct and it posted correctly, and the amount balance for the receivable ledger control account is 2290, whereas for receivable ledger, the list of balances, the total amount is 1690, which is the account customer B has been omitted in this extracting the balance when doing the list of the customer account list. So the difference is 600. So this is not incur the error is not happen in the receivable ledger control account. So the receivable ledger control account, you do not need to make adjustment. You just do you just record back the account being in the and in this receivable ledger list, include back here A, B, and C, and then you will get the amount as 2290. Just include back the omitted accounts balance. So this another error happened in the receivable ledger, which is the credit balance listed as debit. So this is the account that the customer account in the receivable ledger. We have A, B, and C. For A, we have the normal balance, which is debit balance, and C also we have the normal balance, which is debit. As for B, we have the credit balance 200. When extracting this balance for each customer by doing the list of the balance for this receivable, we correctly record for A as a debit balance and C for the debit balance. As for B, it actually is 200 credit balance, what we just wrongly record as 200 as a debit balance. So the amount, the total amount in receivable ledger, the total amount of the list of balance is 1,890, whereas balance as recorded in receivable ledger control account is 1,490. So the difference is when this error, the difference is the double amount of the actual amount, which is the actual balance is 200 credit. When this occurs, so the difference should be 200. It's just different this one. So 1,890 you minus 1,490, so the difference is 400. So the 400 here, you do not need to do adjustment for the receivable ledger control account because this is happened in the receivable ledger list. So what you need to do is just record it correctly back. So this is just puts the minus sign. So you will get the correct figure 1,490. So you just need to correct in the receivable ledger balance accounts, each customer balance. Now let's go to lecture example 4. So we have this question. So the question asks you, reconcile the receivable ledger control account to receivable ledger list of balances. So we have two situations here. One is you need to do for the account of receivable and by post or record this information in the receivable ledger control account, and then you need to adjustment. For B, you need to do adjustment or you need to do reconciliation because the balance won't agree. So let's go to the answer. So this is a receivable ledger control account that has been prepared by transferring the amount given to this account. So you will get the balance of 561,550, whereas for the receivable ledger list we have the different balance, not agree with the receivable ledger control account. Then we need to identify where the mistakes are. So this is a mistake that given in the question. The first one is the total of the sale day book was undercast by 3,600. So we need to identify where the mistake occur. So this is mistake occur in receivable ledger control account. The amount undercast have been wrongly posted to the receivable ledger control account, whereas this only sale day book has been recorded correctly, meaning that the receivable ledger account for each customer has been correctly recorded and it should have the correct balance, and the list of balance for the receivable ledger is correct. As for second, a credit balance of 400 was included in the list of the balance as debit. So this is the mistake occur in the receivable ledger list, because the credit balance of a customer has been wrongly recorded as a debit. As for the receivable ledger control account, it remains a correct figure. Same goes for third mistake, which is a customer balance 2150 was left out from the receivable ledger list of balances was total. Receivable list of balances was total. So a customer with the amount of 2,150 has been omitted from the list. As a result, the receivable ledger list is given the wrong balance. So this is a balance occurred in receivable ledger list. So in order to make a reconciliation, we just adjust the amount to where it's wrongly occurred. So for receivable ledger control account, we have only one mistake here. So this one should be adjusted in the receivable ledger control account. So this is receivable ledger control account. Previously, we have the balance of 561,550. So the 3,600 is the undercast amount. So you need debit sales. Debit receivable ledger control account 3,600. So you will get the balance of 565. The balance, the new balance is 565,150. So this is the balance after adjusted for receivable ledger control account. And then we do reconciliation statement for the receivable ledger list. So as the balance previously, balance has been selected before is 563,900. So we have two mistakes here. One is unlisted customer balance, which is we omit from extracting this balance in the list of balances in receivable ledger. So we just add back this amount to 150, whereas the debit balance has been, the credit balance has been recorded as debit balance. The amount we just put is the balance. The amount balance is 450. This amount should be recorded as negative. So you will get the correct amount. As for the reconciliation statement, this amount should be, we minus back this amount, the amount which is 900. So after doing this, we just calculate the total amount. So we get 565,150, which is similar of the adjusted amount of the receivable ledger control account. So this is how to do reconciliation for control account. Now let's go to lecture example 5. So this is a MCQ question. The question asks you, what amount should Mo report in each statement of financial position for account payable at 30th June 2005? So we have the list of answers here. So how to answer? We look at the information given. So this is the information. The total of list balances in more payable ledger was 877,800. So this is the balance in the list, because this is mentioned here payable ledger. Payable ledger means that this is the amount that we extracted in the memorandum ledger, the list of the payable ledger. This balance did not agree with more payable ledger control account balance. So the control account, which is payable ledger control account, have the different amount. So the following error were discovered. So the first one, we have 3 here, mistake here. So you need to identify where is the mistake occur. So look at the first one, a contra entry 1,690, 1,000 2,960 was recorded in the payable ledger control account, but not in the payable ledger. So it mentioned here in payable ledger control account, in the nominal account has been recorded, but in payable ledger, no. So means that this mistake is happened in the payable ledger. So you need to reconcile this in the payable ledger list, in the statement. So the total of purchase return debit was undercast. So this is a mistake occur in the receivable ledger control account. As I mentioned to you that this will make the amount balance between the receivable, the payable ledger and the payable ledger control account. So this is mistake in the payable ledger control account, and it was for 8,688 was posted to the supplier account as 8,868. So this is happened in supplier account. The supplier account. So this is refer to the payable ledger, because this is individual customer, individual account. So individual account is account that refer to payable ledger. So we have two mistake that occur in the payable ledger. Since this question give the balance in the payable ledger, so you just take the mistake that occur in the payable, which is two only, number 1 and number 3, and then you made adjustment or you made reconciliation. So the reconciliation, you just take the what balance given here, 877,800, which is the balance per list of balances. So why we need to do in statement format? Because this is the mistake occur in the payable ledger. And then we have two mistakes that occur in the payable ledger, which is the contra. So the contra will make the account for supplier decrease. So we minus this amount. As the transposition error, we just take the different amount. So the correct amount is 86, then it record 88, which is more. Since this is more, we already record more, we need to minus it, the different amount. So we minus 180. At the end, you will get the balance as per adjusted control account, which is 875,660, which is the answer is 875,600, which is A. The answer is A. As for the purchase debit is 2,000 here. You just ignore it because this is happened in the receivable ledger control account. So this question gives you the payable ledger balance. So ignore the mistake occur in the receivable ledger control account. Just take the mistake that happened in the payable ledger. Next lecture example 6. What would the following error affect the payable ledger control account? The list of the balances of both. So this is one you need to identify where is the mistake occurred. Tick as appropriate. So the first one is a page of purchases table is undercast. So this is incurred in the payable ledger control account. Whereas an invoice 250 was omitted from the purchase debit. When this incur purchase debit omitted in purchase debit, meaning that we also do not record in the payable ledger also. Because they did not mention that it have been recorded or not. So when it omit means that instead they omit, also in the payable ledger also omit. So both mistake occur. As cash payment to supplier 750 was entered into cash book in a error as 765. So this is transposition error. So this is as a result that we also we record in the supplier amount with the wrong amount. So the table ledger will give the wrong answer, and also for the paper ledger control account also give the wrong balance, because we will post the incorrect amount to the control account. So this mistake happen in both paper ledger control account and list of balances. So number 3, a contract of 800 was omitted from supplier account in the payable ledger. So this is omit in the supplier individual account. So this is happened in the payable ledgers, which is the list of balances. This is the last part of this topic, which is the supplier statement reconciliation. So the supplier statement, we usually send a monthly statement showing invoice, issue, credit notes, payment received, and discount received. So this will show as the balance of the receivable. So reconciliation, this statement should be compared. When a business receives this statement, you need to compare the supplier account in the payable ledger to identify any different and to correct if any errors. So this supplier account you need to compare with the memorandum ledger where you get the supplier name, the supplier account. So you just compare with this amount from the supplier statement and the payable ledger. And any different, you need to correct it. Neither the supplier statement nor the payable ledger form part of double entry system. So I've mentioned to you before, this payable ledger or receivable ledger or supplier statement, this is not part of double entry. Only the nominal ledger is the part of double entry that we use to extract the trial balance at the end of the month. So this is the pro forma, this is the format for the reconciliation, for the supplier statement reconciliation. So we just take the total per supplier statement, or we can also take the balance as the supplier account in payable ledger. We can choose either. Depend on the information given by the question. If the question give you the supplier statement amount, you take the supplier statement amount. If the question give you the payable ledger account balance, you take that one. And then you adjust according to information given. So in this, when you use the supplier statement as the balance, so the adjustment will be the payment not on statement. Whatever figure not appear in the statement, which is the payment not in statement, this is will reduce the debt, so you minus, and the invoice not on the payable ledger. So there is no payable ledger, invoice not in payable ledger, so we reduce the amount. Credit notes not on the payable ledger, also credit note will reduce the supplier. So we just add it back, because in the supplier we already reduced, so we add. Same goes to the this one, invoice not in payable ledger. So instead we have, so we need to minus that. So end up we have the balance as per payable ledger. So this one we reconcile it to the payable ledger. So this example, this is a reconciliation item. Reconciliation item may occur as a result of the following. This is a mistake. Okay, Okay, this is the thing that will affect on the reconciliation. One is payment in transit. A payment in transit. A payment will go in a payable ledger when a check is issued or when a payment transfer is made. There will be a delay of postal processing before a payment is entered into record of the supplier. So this one, this amount will appear in the statement, supplier statement, whereas for the payable ledger is already recorded. And this one, invoice or credit note in transit means that this is a separate statement. This amount will appear. As for the payable ledger control account, it won't appear because the invoice or the credit note is not received yet by the business. An error of omission, either the supplier or business may omit an invoice of credit note error. So this one will appear, the error will appear in both, either in statement or in the payable ledger. It depends to the question. And lastly, addition error, summation error can occur, particularly in statement accounts prepared manually. So this one can also happen in both, either in statement or in payable ledger. And misposting, invoice, credit note, payment amount may be misposting, a wrong amount or subtracted rather than added or was vice versa. This is about calculation. Whether it's wrongly calculated and post the wrong amount, or the amount which is the amount should be minus, you just write as calculate it as add. So this is misposting. So look at the last example, example 7. So the question asks you what discrepancy remains between Tonga and Cook's records after allowing for this item. So this is item 2 item. After we made adjustment, we still have the difference between the Tonga records and the Cook's records. So what is the different amount? So let's do it. So Tonga is a statement from supplier Cook. So the supplier is Cook and the Tonga is a business. So the question asks you Tonga book and Tonga Cook record, showing a balance of 14,810. This is from the statement. Tonga payable ledger show balance due to Cook of 10,000. As for the Tonga book, it shows that Cook, which is the payable, the balance is 10,000. So different as the statement. Investigation reveals that the following cash paid to Cook 4080 has not been recorded by Cook. So Cook did not record this transaction. So for adjustment, it should be adjusted in the payable ledger. As for the Tonga record, the fact that $50 cash discount was not allowed. Oh no, sorry. For number 1, Cook already paid, means that it's already issued a check, but for the Tonga is already recorded is this 4080, whereas for the Cook, he did not get this check yet, so the statement never include this figure. So this should be adjusted in the statement. Whereas Tonga, number 2 is Tonga record the fact that $40 cash discount was not allowed by the Cook. So it means that Tonga is already know that he not allowed for the discount, but in the payable is already deduct the discount. So this should be adjusted in the payable ledger. So this is the answer. This is Cook, the statement amount of and this is Tonga at payable balance. So the adjustment, this is the check that the cook never received yet. So the amount is included the debt which is not been paid, but the check is already given, already issued. So you minus this one, the check amount. So the revised balance is 10,730. As the Tonga, the payable ledger is 10,000. So the cash discount, Tonga forgot to take out the amount, so you need to minus the amount. So we need to put back the discount back. So the balance should be 10,040. Increase the balance. So if we look at after the adjustment, the balance also different. So the question asks you what is the difference. So the difference is you just minus the revised balance here. So the answer is 690, the difference amount. So this is all about the control account. So by this part of video, meaning that you already learned all things that you need to know in the topic of control account. So please do the exercise that I have given to you, and we will discuss the answer later. So I'll see you later. Thank you for watching this video.